Welcome to the Atlantic Indie RoundA'Bout here at CIOE 97.5 FM. I'm your host, Maurice O'Coin, and we are streaming live to the world at www.communityradio.ca. We are going to discuss and celebrate independent artists' music from all over the Atlantic region and beyond. Let's all get on the Atlantic Indie RoundA'Bout right now.
I've been gone for a while now. I've been drunk and broken down, searching for a reason, traveling from town to town, never finding something better, not better than that place. Still think about it all the time, with a smile on my face, and my heart lies in the island, but my body lies away. And on starry nights I miss her, the island I once stayed. I've been a joker for a while now. I've been king and I've been crowned, with no throne to give me guidance. It's back there in my hometown. I've been wandering the ocean, somewhere along the coast. I'm on a mission for Cape Breton, the place that I love most. And my heart lies in the island, but my body lies away. And on starry nights I miss her, the island I once stayed. But I've been gone too long for a while now, and I'll be back again someday. And those silent girls remind us when our hearts been led astray, led astray. And if you're looking, you can find me somewhere along the coast. I'm on a mission for the island, the place that I love most. But you would never know. No, you could never know. And my heart lies in the island, but my body lies away. And on starry nights I miss her, the island I once stayed. But I've been gone too long for a while now, and I'll be back again someday. And those silent girls remind us when our hearts been led astray, led astray.
Well, here we are in the roundabout this week, and I have not one, but I have two special guests on deck tonight. We've got Kelly Devoe, and we've got Dylan Devoe. It's great to have you both on the show. Obviously, both of you guys are recording artists. You're both musicians. I've never seen you play live, Dylan, but I've seen some of the stuff that you've done. The big drive-in shows I think you were doing there. We'll talk about those after. And I've seen Kelly play. We've been buddies for quite a while now, and just before the pandemic, I would say, we kind of connected. Dylan, so obviously, did you take up music because your dad was already playing music, or is this something you had on your own to do, or kind of thing, or just?
No, he taught me everything I know, man.
Oh, cool.
No, I got you started. I didn't teach you everything you know, I'll guarantee you that.
Good, let him find out the hard way then, okay?
Yeah.
How long ago did you start writing music?
I'd say since I was a teenager, probably. I'm 31 now, so I probably started writing songs when I was 12.
So Kelly, I guess that we're gonna ask you the same question. I mean, you've been playing music obviously a little longer, but when did it become apparent to you that with Jesus Murphy?
Yeah. Well, unlike you, and we're roughly about the same age, right? Yeah,
almost exactly the same age, actually.
So just around 2012, I decided to take it a little more serious, right? And it was just before that, I'm going to say 2011. 2010 maybe, that I started noticing Dylan's songs and some of the stuff he was writing. And I said to him, Dylan, gee, that's incredible what you just played there on the guitar. He was at a party, kind of, and his friends were all looking at him, all over the fretboard. And I'm thinking, geez, man, that's incredible. Who does that song, right? He goes, oh, just something I made up. I'm like, what? I said, geez, man, you got to do something with these riffs and these songs that you got here. I said, are you going to finish them off? Have you got them done? You got lyrics? He goes, no, not really, just kind of bits and pieces. I said, well, if you're not going to do anything with them, why don't you give them to me, right? So I took some of these riffs that he gave. I got them in. I got to record it, and Dylan can vouch for this. I got him to record everything that he had, that he could think of in his head, that he didn't have a place to fit it. And I started taking it and reworking things. It was like he gave me a piece of paper, and I cut it all up into pieces, and then I moved it all around, and then taped it all back together, but in a different order. And so after a while, we had like pretty much an album's worth of songs to do. And to this day, we haven't, and I sent you one of the tracks earlier, but it was, to this day, we haven't recorded that album yet. But we did that with Dylan's sister, Danielle. So the three of us actually were intending on recording an album. And then it wasn't long after that, I kind of get into doing my music thing. And then Dylan kind of got into doing his music thing with his own band. But it was around 2009, to answer your question earlier, that Jesus Murphy started, playing in bars, and around 2017 we actually recorded our first album, and since then, that was all cover tunes, just Irish, it was the St. Paddy's Day album type thing, right? And then after we did that, we said, oh, the next time we do this, we should start writing our own songs. So,
are you the featured songwriter in your group?
Yeah, I'm pretty much the guy that takes the reins, but I never ever really wanted to be, a leader in a band, but you always do need one, right? You really kind of would rather be part of the band. And I do like that collaboration.
We're going to talk about your collaboration with Jesus Murphy shortly, because we have some of your own music to discuss tonight as well, which is fabulous. I'm excited to talk about that too. But getting out to you, Dylan, do you actually have a band that you call the Dylan Devoe Band, or do you farm out musicians?
A bit of both. So the album is made up of all kinds of different guys and girls. My friend Colette Devoe, we've done some songwriting together. She's featured on the album. Jordan Musician is on there. Colin Grant. There's lots of great musicians playing on the album. But when I do the band thing, originally our band was run by Ryan Rideout, my longtime buddy. We started a band called Pirate Jenny, and that's a lot of his songs that he wrote, and I'm kind of the backup and playing lead guitar on all that stuff, so I'm part of the band there. But when it comes to my own band, it's some old buddies, and actually the bass player double dips. My buddy Josh, he's in Pirate Jenny, and he's playing in my band. It's Dylan Devoe and the Dirty Dogs.
What a dirty dog.
Yeah.
Double dipping.
But yeah, no, we actually only did one show as the Dirty Dog Band, and that was for the album release, and it was an absolute blast.
All community radio stations they serve their communities. And what's neat about this particular episode is that I'm looking at two guys with two careers, and both your songs are leapfrogging each other's on the same charts. I think that's rather cool. Now, Kelly, you've already had a #1 hit, Bluefin 1496. And you wrote that song yourself for the band?
That's correct, yeah.
Would this be your guys' first original song in the group?
That was, yeah.
Where did you record that at, by the way?
I recorded it right here on my laptop, the same one I'm talking to you on.
So did you mix it and everything yourself?
I do a pre-mix, and then I send it off to the people that know what they're doing. And I'm happy to say is Mr. Joe Breen.
It's a great song. It's produced well. You made the video yourself?
I illustrated the images.
I love it.
And then I gave it to a gentleman named Cale Ray, and he animated it. He basically took all my illustrations and brought them to life, made them move. But Joe Breen he gives us our sound. He makes us come alive. Because as you know, when you're recording, you get something there, but you need somebody to really make that come to life, right?
Absolutely. And I think on that note, we're going to check that one out. Jesus Murphy and Bluefin 1496. And we'll be right back at the Atlantic Indie Roundabout right here at CIOE 97.5 FM, and it's streaming to the world online at www.communityradio.ca, and we'll be right back.
We set out on the sea before us, so dark and gray, for miles around as the bluefin fed. They were just offshore. Oh, that's when the line went down. Oh, when the line went down. Oh, when the line went down. We got her on the hook, she's 1,000 pounds. Oh, that's when the line went down. The rod was bent on the starboard side, and the reel it spun as the line unwound. So hang on, boys, we're going for a ride. Oh, that's when the line went down. Oh, when the line went down. Oh, when the line went down. But we got her on the hook, she's 1,000 pounds. Oh, that's when the line went down. We're going hard and we're going strong, and the boat she shook with a rattle and sound. We're going like the devil as we're pulled along. Oh, that's when the line went down. Oh, when the line went down. Oh, when the line went down. But we got her on the hook, she's 1,000 pounds. Oh, that's when the line went down. Well, it's a fight to the finish on the Silver Sea, where the battle was won and the king was crowned. He caught the biggest tuna fish you've ever seen. Oh, that's when the line went down. Oh, when the line went down. Oh, when the line went down. But we got her on the hook, she's 1,000 pounds. Oh, that's when the line went down. Oh, when the line went down. Oh, when the line went down. But we got her on the hook, she's 1,000 pounds. Oh, that's when the line went down. Oh, that's when the line went down. It was 1,496 pounds.
You are listening to the Atlantic Indie Roundabout with me, your host, Maurice O'Coin. So there you've heard Bluefin 1496. I have a hard time with that title, Kelly. Give us the backstory on the song. I know you've told it probably 1,000 times now, but you never told it on my show yet.
No, I haven't. No. Well, and I'll get from point A to point B as quickly as I can. But basically, to make a long story short, a gentleman from Nova Scotia by the name of Ken Fraser caught the world's largest Atlantic bluefin tuna. And that was in October of 1979. And here we are more than 42 years later, and the record still has not been broken, and it won't, okay? I had the idea to write a song about a bluefin tuna before I knew about Ken Fraser and the record. So I started to write something about bluefin tuna, and a buddy of mine, Dwight Parker, who runs the Pirates of Halifax, he said, "Oh, I know the guy who has the record." And I'm like, "What?" And he told me about it. So he said, I can introduce you to him. So I ended up meeting him. I played the song for him, and he said, oh, that's a great song. That's an awesome song. I got to clarify, though. I said, I didn't actually write the song about you, nor did I know about this record. So in this song, the fish gets away. It's that classic story of the big fish that got away, right? And he looked at me and his face just dropped. And he was like, no, that can't happen. No, the fish doesn't get away, right? And as soon as I saw the look on his face, before he even said any words, I said, there's more to this story, right? So the song actually became about Ken and that record and the story. He's a super nice guy too. Awesome dude. And at the age of 84, still pulling in like 700 pound tuna fish.
It's fabulous at how that turned out. And the song is great. The fact that you changed the original intent of the song, you wouldn't know that song wasn't written the way it was written right from the get-go. It's fabulous.
Well, and it was originally called the Bluefin. But Ken said he suggested putting that number in the title, 1496. He said, in the sport tuna fishing world, that's like saying 99 in the hockey world. You know what it is. He said, you say 1496, everybody knows what it is.
And I got to add, it made number 1. Congratulations, still.
Thank you.
Now we're going to move over to Dylan, because, you've got to have a story as good as that. I don't know, Dylan. That's really cool. And by the way, going back to what you were talking about earlier, one of your groups there, Pirate Jenny, that's neat because Pirate Jenny's been on the charts too.
They have, yeah.
Yeah, you've got some airplay with those guys as well. And you're getting a lot of airplay. And this isn't your first song. I think your latest song right now that sits on the charts right now is The Battle of Lewisburg. And that's a rockin' tune. I don't want to jump ahead to that so far because I know it's your latest song. But you've had, 4 songs now on the radio?
Yeah, that's right. Yeah. Caper Run.
What was your first one? What was your first release?
Caper Run was the first.
Okay, yes. I remember when that came out. It was cool. And both Devoes were running around on the charts at the same time, and I thought that was super cool. So the inspirations for your music, when you listen to your music, it's pretty obvious that you sing a lot about the island. You really do.
Yeah, totally.
Is that pretty well all your inspiration comes from, or?
A good fair bit of it, for sure. A lot of, hometown pride, and then also being away from that too sparks a lot of inspiration. My songs are either about home or being away from home.
How long did you spend away from home?
About 8 years in Alberta and Saskatchewan.
Too long.
Too long.
Yeah, too long.
Yeah. Everybody comes home. They always come home. I imagine, is there some jibbing and there's rivalry when you get together at Christmas? Do you guys joke about who's going to outchart the next person?
No, not really. We're both pushing for each other to,
Which one of your songs would you like to throw on there, Dylan?
We might as well go with Caper Run.
I would say the good one right there. So Caper Run, Dylan Devoe, right here on the Roundabout, and we'll be right back.
Tighten up my bootlace, better run.
You've just heard Caper Run by Dylan Devoe. That's fantastic. Where did you record that song at?
So that one was done at Broken Clock Recording Studios over in Lewisburg. Travis, the engineer, had no idea what I was wanting to do. Was it going to be just me and an acoustic guitar songwriter stuff, or was it going to be full band? And I loved the idea of full band. Did I have a full band at the time? No. So he hopped on the drums right away, which was very cool. I ended up playing bass and guitar, and my buddy Redmond McDougall did some backup vocals.
It's fabulous. And we're gonna be exploring some of your other songs soon too. But your songs definitely got they're definitely catchy, and you can definitely hear that you're a Cape Bretoner. Yeah, it's really, really good. And you know, Kelly, your music is different. It's nautically influenced. It's East Coast and all this, but you guys don't sound at all the same. Have you guys ever thought about collaborating?
Totally.
Yeah. Absolutely.
Yeah. Are you working on it now, or is it just something? Is it all just talk?
It's a bit of talk right now. We haven't actually. We've collaborated in the past on stuff like Dad was saying. I've brought some riffs to the table, and he wrote some lyrics, and we pieced it all together. But yeah, no, we talked about doing something real soon.
Yeah,
that would be really cool to make a song together, write a song and go in the proper studio, proper environment.
Yeah,
that'd be super cool to do that. I guess you would call it the Devoes. Or just Devoe.
Devoe and Devoe.
Yeah. That's fabulous. Many parents would only dream of having a situation like you guys do, where you guys both record and write your own music. And I think that's super cool. What a great thing to have a connection with your, between the two of you like this. I think it's fabulous.
Well, absolutely. I mean, it goes without saying that I'm incredibly proud of Dylan, and I tell him that all the time. And you were mentioning earlier about competition or anything like that. I mean, any competition would be friendly competition. It's we really do encourage each other, and we're honest with each other when we give each other honest feedback on stuff and whatnot. But we have been writing songs, for well over a decade, Dylan and I, right? We have, as I mentioned, wrote an entire album with his sister, my daughter, Danielle, and we just never took it past the demo point. We never really took it into the studio to have, real drums put on the stuff. I played all the bass parts. Dylan played every guitar note, and we all sang on it. I've played on stage with, a number of bands over the years, and you know what that's like, right? And that it has its great moments, but it also doesn't have its great moments too. But whenever I'm on stage with Dylan, I always feel like, he's got it. He's very supportive. No matter what I throw at him, he's going to be able to follow it, right? It's like that, you throw this wild frisbee, but he dives, he gets it. It's like, I don't know how he got it, right? But he got it. So, if I just got to look over at Dylan and say solo, right, and there he goes, right? So, and he knows what harmonies to throw in, and when he's singing, I feel, I know what harmonies to throw in for him too. The thing about being an artist, Maurice, is that, and I'm an illustrator as well. That's my day job, my profession. So I'm an artist and a musician. So I get hit two times, double whammy. But it's not for everybody. You have to have a bit of a thick skin. You have to be brave. You have to and really have that passion for it and have that bug for it to want to do it enough to go. And some people have that entertainment thing, or they just want to be on stage and be in the background, right?
Exactly. Like some people have the passion to that level, but I said, well, if you're that passionate about it and you've got the talent, then do it. It's like jumping in the deep end of the pool. You're not sure if you can swim or not, We're going to dive into your catalog now, Kelly. These are songs I'd like to, make it clear, like these aren't polished off, like, full commercial masters. Yeah, these are, I guess you call them demos. I think they're a little bit more refined than that. One of the songs I particularly liked, Phases of the Moon, had a really good groove to it. And, it's a reggae, I guess you could call it, kind of feel. What inspired that song?
Oh, that's very good. I wrote that in 5 minutes. I'm not kidding you. It was me and my brother Blair and another buddy, and we were partying, and we got together, and this guy, he could do Bob Marley, right? And he was just going at it, right? And I was just playing two chords. I think it was a D and a C, back and forth, and my brother was playing the bass. And that turned into a song that we just basically made up on the spot. I still have a recording of that song, but when we put that aside, and anyway, I later reworked it and come up with basically a song about, you know, our own existence and, you know, how long are we going to be here for? Are we going to be here for a long time? Are we going to be here for a short time? That's kind of what it was, right?
We're going to check out Phases of the Moon.
Okay, this goes back to 1986.
1986, eh?
It's when I wrote it. Yeah, I recorded it in 2010.
Sometimes I'm out of touch with this world. Sometimes I feel like floating away. But I am attached to this mothership with a rope around my waist. Phases of the moon will pass, but I will stay the same. Phases of the moon won't last as long as I remain. At night I listen to the sea. Her tides come in and capture me. But I am not a sailor or equipped with a sail to guide me on my way. Phases of the moon will pass, but I will stay the same. Phases of the moon won't last as long as I remain. As a ball, sometimes I see it rolling away. But I don't want to carry this world like a chip on my shoulder. It's too much weight for me. For me. Phases of the moon will pass, but I will stay the same. The moon won't last that long. Phases of the moon.
Don't go away. We'll be right back with more of the Atlantic Indie Roundabout, right here at CIOE 97.5 FM and streaming to the world at www.communityradio.ca. That was Phases of the Moon by Kelly Dylan, and it's not out on an album yet or anything like that.
Yeah, no, I will say something about that too, because I want to give credit to. I did actually get Ron Hustis help me with that song. This was back before I knew anything about GarageBand or recording on my own laptop. So Ron helped me with that song.
Well, that's good to have friends in your corner. And he's a great guy too.
Oh, he's a super nice guy. Super guy. I love him.
Right on. It's funny how the village has gotten broader and bigger around here. And I know it's not typical. It is unique because I've talked to people and people that have been on this show. And gentlemen like Justin Mackey, who was just here for a while, actually. And he was just absolutely blown away by the tight musical community that we do have here, which is kind of neat because when you look at Cape Breton in itself, Cape Breton has its own microcosm of a music community that's very tight and close too. Like a lot of the guys that you work with, Dylan, are guys that they all got individual careers, but they all seem to cross paths a lot. And everybody seems to be very supportive on the island with each other's careers.
Yeah, that is a very true statement, man. Everybody likes to see everybody do well, and they support each other in any way they can. Like, you know, I open up for a Colette or Jordan or the Pretty Archie boys, and everybody kind of joins. Like I got Jordan and Colette and one of the guys from Pretty Archie playing at my show opening up. So it kind of all goes back and forth, right?
Well, cool. Talking about your shows, Dylan, you did a couple cool gigs up in when it was during the pandemic. I think it was like a drive-in kind of style concert, and I saw some video from that. Kelly was pretty excited about showing me some of the video from it actually, and it looked really cool. What was it like? Were you playing the cars, like basically cars in the field, like a drive-in style show?
Just like they would be for a drive-in movie. They were there for a show that was featured on the big screen, but also a band live on a stage just below the screen. And that was such a cool show. I got to be the first musician to ever play at the Cape Breton Drive-In on a stage. And did they give you a little trophy for that? No, I didn't get the trophy.
No, but the sunset was absolutely amazing. Absolutely amazing.
Well, that's the picture that I saw. You have a picture of him playing at sunset, don't you?
Mm-hmm.
Yep.
Yeah, that's really super cool. Now, I mean, a lot of people have done those shows, but that's one of the reasons why I had asked, because not too many people around here have done those shows. I've had a few people on the show that have actually done them, like Woody Woodburn. He did a series of them with Blue Rodeo, or with Jim Cuddy. And it was it was cool to hear how it went. And you see them. I've seen a few of them on stream, and that literally at the end of the song, cars honking their horns and everything. That's really quite cool.
The fact that the cars were going to be there in the audience, inspired me to do a song that I'd never ever do. I learned it specifically for that show. Was Neil Diamond's song "Sweet Caroline," so that people could do the ba ba ba, and it was awesome.
And did they do that?
Oh yeah, they knew exactly what to do. It was, everybody understood the assignment, and it was awesome. I think they featured it on the news.
Well, when you think about it, I mean, it was a pretty cool experience for you, but it was also a very cool experience for the audience, because it's not something that they do very often either. And they were starved to hear a good concert. Was that just a one-off show, or was it a series of concerts?
That was just a one-off. And my wife, Destiny, actually was the one who organized that, along with Jerry Holland Jr. And she pieced it all together. We booked the bands. It was myself, Colette Devoe, Jordan Musician, and Pretty Archie was the closing band. And it was a rocking time. It was so much fun. We had Jamie Folds from Sound Park Studio. He was the wizard behind the curtain, mixing the sound and getting it to transmit through the FM radio. And he did a fabulous job. And then we had Pro Sound Source do the lights and the stage sound. And it was awesome, man. We just had the best of the best there that night.
What would have been your big single at the time of that show?
Peace in West Virginia, I think, was the one.
Well, I think we should play that. Let's put that on.
Yeah, sure.
Let's check it out. Dylan Devoe, right here at CIOE 97.5 FM. We'll be right back. Don't go away.
Down the road, we're trying to get out of the cold, and it's a long damn night. Big times and bright headlights. Let's do another 1,000 miles. Heading to West Virginia, but it's only the beginning of a longest ride. Drive the whole damn night, just trying to make it there. When you're tired and you're giving all you've got to give, when you feel you've broken down, there's a piece of me inside of you to help you carry on. Left a piece in West Virginia. Heading to driving for a long, long while. All I know is when I see your smile, it makes it all worthwhile. Trying to get out of the cold, and it's a long damn night of exit times and bright-headed lights. Let's do another 1,000 miles, leaving West Virginia, but it's only the beginning of the longest ride. We could drive the whole damn night, just trying to make it there.
You've just heard Peace in West Virginia by Dylan Devoe. And so the inspiration behind the song for a guy from Cape Breton, West Virginia. What's the story?
So that actually was... me and my wife took our camper van from Cape Breton down to New Orleans and everywhere in between. So we stopped in, and I had it in my head that I was going to write songs on the road. And when we'd stop into these states or cities, I would sit down with the guitar and really focus on writing a song about that kind of went with the theme of what we were doing at that time. So I did one in Salem about the witch trials in the 1600s. And then the next stop was Canova, West Virginia. And we stopped there for only a night. And I pieced the song together and did it the next morning in front of this place called the Pumpkin House. And it was one of the only songs that I'd play harmonica on. And it was totally inspired by that whole trip in general. That was kind of the song that was the sum of the trip, if you will.
That's a fascinating song, and you should write a song about something as awesome as a road trip like that, Dylan. That's pretty cool. Like, you may never do that trip again.
Yeah, absolutely.
So Kelly, coming back to you now. So I would like to talk about the Fiddler's Tune. Their song kind of came out of nowhere. You guys wrote that pretty quickly, didn't you? I thought.
Well, I was saying to the guys, you know what, and I didn't want to be the only guy that writes all the songs. I said, let's start collaborating on stuff, which is what we're doing now. Chris Steves helped me on that tune, but we were trying to come up with a tune, and I had something. It was just some kind of a little story that we were trying to tell, something about a small town, because I come from a small town. Dylan grew up in a small town. They go down to the local hall on the weekend, and they let it all out. They just have this incredible time, maybe a little too much fun. Or sometimes they're getting in fights. Sometimes they're probably messing around with other people's partners. Who knows what kind of shenanigans they're getting into? But when they leave, because they know they're a community and they all got to live together, they leave it all behind. They just leave it there. But the only thing they remember is the Fiddler's Tune. And Joe Breen, again, helped us on that tune.
Well, we're going to put that song on now, but before we do, I'd like to say good choice in getting Anthony Rosisco on violin. That was a great call right there. He's a very busy cat. You're lucky to even get your hands on him at the best of times. Oh, and he's just so smooth to work with too. He's just Anthony Rosisco is not going to join Jesus Murphy, nor can we fit in the seventh guy on stage. But to get him on a song like this, he said, you know what? I said, I want to make sure that I give you some parts in there that are doable by other musicians. It's simple enough that if we need to fill a guest star in there, they could probably do that part. That's cool that he thought of that. Well, we're going to check out the Fiddler's Tune right now, and don't go away. We'll be right back.
From work today, the week he left behind, he walked into the kitchen, his intention to unwind. And then he says, "Dear Mary, let me pours both a drop, for the music is a-waiting and the fiddler will never stop."
Well, Jack and Patty were always in trouble, but that didn't matter none. When they teamed up with Jenny and Rose, the trouble was all but done. All fired up and ready to go, they stepped into the square. They were driven by the fiddle and the energy in the air. Hey!
Come gather round and hear the tales, but some of them can't be told. For the neighbors would be livid, how the grudges they would hold. Up all night into the dawn and staggered out at noon, all to be forgotten except the memory
of the fiddler's tune.
in from out of town, been working on the rigs. He missed the sound of the fiddle, how he missed the reels and jigs. The boys all said, come on, let's go, we'll have a hell of a time. And they all went down to the dance hall to leave it all behind. Hey! Come gather round and hear the tales, but some of them can't be told. For the neighbors would be livid, how the grudges they would hold. Up all night into the dawn, they staggered out at noon, all to be forgotten except the memory
of the fiddler's tune. Mary says that Johnny, well, that was a heck of a night. They were swinging, they were swaying till the dawn's early light. Now it's a hazy morning as they're sipping on their tea, with a closet full of secrets as they hum the melody.
Come gather round and hear the tales, but some of them can't be told. For the neighbors would be livid, how the grudges they would hold. Up all night into the dawn, they staggered out at noon, all to be forgotten except the memory of the fiddler's tune.
We're not done yet. We'll be right back with more at the Atlantic Indie Roundabout here at CIOE 97.5 FM. You just heard a Fiddler's Tune, and that's something by Jesus Murphy, that another one of Kelly Devoe's songs, and with a guest appearance by Anthony Rosisco. And wonderful. So going back to before we go to Dylan now, you're saying that Jesus Murphy is actually a six-piece band, but I come to see a few of your shows, or at least seen the advertisement where you actually don't always play with six people sometimes.
Yeah.
And there's some places where you played, and if you played with six people, I don't know how you physically did it. It must be quite a chore, like you said, getting the whole band together to do a show.
Yeah, well, a lot of times we have to stack three guys on top of other three guys' shoulders, right? But we've done shows where we've had three guys in the band, four guys in the band, five guys, six guys, or seven. And with Anthony, we actually had eight.
How about you, Dylan? You playing solo gigs as well, and when you do a band gig, how big is your band typically?
So for me, I'm guitar and vocals, and then I have my buddy Lachlan McKinnon beating on the drums. There's Josh Martell playing the bass, and then there's usually a fourth person. But the last show that we did, the fourth person was it was a rotating musician. So we had Redmond McDougall. He did 4 or 5 songs. He plays banjo and drums and Pretty Archie. So he was playing on a few tracks. And then I had a friend, Andrew Gregg, who got up on electric guitar, and he played a few tracks. We played together in Colette DeVoe's band. And then my friend Jenny, who was also Redmond's sister, she plays the cello, and she got up and did a few songs with me. So it was kind of this rotating, swinging door of that fourth member was someone different every time.
That's great, though. And to have, like I said, such a large posse of musicians. Yeah. That's super cool. So Dylan, discussing Battle of Lewisburg, is it straight out of history books, or did you put your own story to it? Or
I took the tour over at the Fortress of Lewisburg and got some information through there, and I did some studying and research online. So it is true to the actual battle that happened 1758. The British Army, led by General Amherst, came over and captured Louisbourg to essentially take over Quebec.
The song is very infectious. You got a really cool beat. It's unlike the rest of your music. Because
that one actually wasn't even going to be on the album. I wrote that in. I got inspired by traveling over to Louisbourg, recording all the time, and came up with this cool kind of Celtic-y battle riff, if you will. And then we thought about talking about putting stair stomps on it, and then I started writing the words, and I really, really got into the history part of it, and it just took off from there, and it ended up being one of my favorite songs. I used it as the opening track on the album. There's these old wooden stairs in the in Broken Clock Studios over in Louisbourg, and me and Travis, the studio engineer, we're stomping on the stair to the beat of the song over and over and over again, so it sounded like an army. We must have did it 20, 30, maybe 40 times. And put a little reverb on that, and next thing you know, it sounds like an entire army of hundreds of men coming in for battle.
Here we are with Dylan Devoe and the Battle of Louisbourg. Well, that was the Battle of Louisbourg by Dylan Devoe, and that's a very infectious beat, Dylan. It rocks. It rocks. It really does. It's nice to hear you changing your styles.
A Celtic Black Sabbath, if you will, kind of Ozzy feel to it.
Very gothic. Very gothic, yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, it was timely the way it came out too, because it was around the when you first released it. It was around the time that they found 100 cannonballs from the fortress of Louisburg, which was on the news.
Yeah, that's right. They had that story 2 days after I released the song, which is pretty cool. And CBC actually featured it as part of the segment, the song with the story, which is pretty cool.
You can't buy that publicity, folks.
No,
you couldn't have planned that any better. There you go.
But here's the other thing, Maurice, is both Dylan and I have both been on the CBC commenting about a historic event that happened about with a song that we wrote about it.
That's really cool. We got Kelly and Dylan Devoe here, if you're just joining us now. And it's pretty neat that we have father and son, both with independent recording careers, doing music. And we have them both together in the same conversation. It's a lot of fun. You guys got a good thing going here. Well, where can we find your stuff online, like your music? Maybe you have merchandise site. I mean, you have a website, obviously.
There's DylanDevoe.com. Very straightforward to the point. And then if you go on Facebook and just look up my music page, just Dylan Devoe, that's where I post a lot of videos and stuff on Facebook. And that's where I was doing my live stream. So all that stuff should be on there. I got quite a bit of stuff on YouTube too. Yeah.
Got to get them on the playlist. That's the thing now. How about you, Kelly?
I do have a YouTube channel, and I put some of the videos on there. We do have a website. JesusMurphy.ca is a website. But the best place to go is to our Facebook page.
I don't know about you, Dylan, but it seems like Facebook is the place where all the old people go.
Yeah. I find that a lot of people view it on Facebook. It gets out there more, and I mean, that's kind of the point of doing it, really. You're not just setting up the video camera for nobody to watch it. So I found I've had the most success with Facebook, especially the live too.
I still think a byproduct of this would be to have you guys actually put out a song or a record. It doesn't have to be a whole album, maybe just a collaboration, a couple tunes maybe or something.
Well, it is definitely on our radar, Dylan and I, to write and record a song together.
That would be wonderful. We'd look forward to hearing that.
We should make a point of doing that this year. Let's say
absolutely.
Before 2022 ends, we'll have it done.
Right.
Yeah.
It's been a pleasure having you guys on the show tonight. I wish you all the best. I can't wait to hear the music that you've both got coming out collectively, and individually. And all the best of luck. And have a good night, and we'll chat soon.
Thanks, Maurice. Thanks for having us.
Midday sun, we were out on the run, heading west, coming out of Las Vegas. We were headed for the coast, through the desert as we drove. I wondered where this road would take us. Now there's nowhere to run, and there's nowhere to hide. There's no turning back once you decide to go down Isaac's Road. Blazing through the glare with the wind in our hair, the vermilion flycatcher song is dry. Tuning into static on the dashboard radio, there's an accident on the other side. Now there's nowhere to run, and there's nowhere to hide. There's no turning back once you decide. There's no turning back once
once you decide. Under the Mojave sun, like a smoking gun, along the Arrowhead Trail in a sandstorm fire, approaching fast and strong was a ghost on a hog, with a mask of a skull, a phantom rider. Now there's nowhere to run, and there's nowhere to hide. There's no turning back once you decide to go down Isaac's Road. There's always time to die, but you're out there